We are welcome here. We're welcome to ask, seek, and knock for our right place and our right purpose, our call, if you will. And as we may know by now, it's no easy task. No easy task. For it sure makes us wonder, who's calling who? Who's calling who? As in the story, you may recall, of Abram and Sarai, those who we know as Abraham and Sarah, the parents of a nation and the ancestors of Jesus. We're speaking a movie, weren't we? It's in Genesis 12 when God told Abram, "Leave your country, your family, and your father's home for a land that I will show you. I'll make you a great nation. I'll bless you. I'll make you famous. You'll be a blessing. I'll bless those who bless you. Those who curse you, I'll curse. All the families on the earth will be blessed through you." So Abram left, just as God said, and Lot, his nephew, left with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. Abram took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, with him, along with all the possessions and the people that they had gotten in Haran, and set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived safe and sound. This is where God appeared to Abram and said, "I will give this land to your children." So Abram kept moving, steadily making his way south. Then there was a famine. So Abram went down to Egypt to live. It was a hard famine. As he drew near to Egypt, he said to his wife, "Look, Sarai, now we both know you're beautiful. When the Egyptians see you, they're going to say, 'Aha, that's his wife,' and they'll kill me. But they'll let you live. So do me a favor. Tell them you're my sister. Because of you, they'll welcome me and let me live." So when Abram arrived in Egypt, the Egyptians did take one look and saw that his wife was stunningly beautiful. Pharaoh's princes raved over her to Pharaoh. So she was taken to live with Pharaoh. And because of her, Abram got along very well. He accumulated sheep and cattle, male and female donkeys, men and women servants. Oh, and camels. Camels. But God hit Pharaoh hard because of Abram's wife Sarai. Everybody in the palace got seriously sick. So Pharaoh called for Abram, and he said, "What's this that you've done to me? Why didn't you tell me that she's your wife? Why did you say she's my sister? Well, here's your wife back. Take her and get out." So Pharaoh sent Abram, his wife, and everything he owned along their way. Whew. I'm sorry, pardon me, I just got to ask, just a minute. Let's see, what's the number? Oh, good morning, God. Yeah, you know I'm in church. I'm preaching. Still needs some work. Yeah, I know, I'm working on that. But I got a question because, just reading there in Genesis 12, that part where Abram was kind of like lying about his wife, that wasn't part of your call to Abram and Sarai, was it? Oh, you want us? You want to know what we think? Based on what we know about Jesus? Okay, I think we're up for that, right, folks? Yeah, sure, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Yeah, thanks a lot for taking the call. Yeah, and we love you too. Yeah. Bye. Sorry about that. I just couldn't resist. I mean, so how do we call it from what we know about Jesus? Well, let's take a look at Matthew chapter 9. A local official appeared, bowed politely, and said to Jesus, "My daughter has just now died, but if you come and touch her, she will live." So Jesus got up, went with him, his disciples following along. Just then, a woman who had been hemorrhaging for 12 years slipped in from behind and lightly touched his robe. She was thinking to herself, if I can put just a finger on his robe, I'll get well. Jesus turned, caught her at it, felt the power going out of his robe. And then he reassured her, "Courage, daughter. You took a risk of faith, and now you're well." And the woman was well from then on. Well, by now they had arrived at the house of the town official and pushed their way through the gossips looking for a story and neighbors bringing in casseroles. Jesus was abrupt. "Clear out. This girl, she isn't dead, she's sleeping." They told him he didn't know what he was talking about. But when Jesus had gotten rid of the crowd, he went in, took the girl's hand, and pulled her to her feet, alive. Well, as Jesus left the house, he was followed by 2 blind men, and they were crying out, "Mercy, Son of David, mercy on us." And when Jesus got home, the blind men went in with him. Jesus said to them, "Do you really believe I can do this?" And they said, "Why, yes, Master." And so he touched their eyes and said, "Become what you believe." Become what you believe. And it happened. They saw. So ends the reading. They believed, and then they saw, as did the father of that girl and the woman who touched Jesus' robe. And no, they didn't have a cell phone to call on God. Neither do we. Neither do we, of course, but we do have, as on our phones, do you have caller ID on your phone? Yeah, me too. We have a kind of caller ID, life and spiritually, cosmically speaking, that will help us identify what guides our best life. What guides our best life. Much like an umpire. Who calls it? Oh, the umpires like we'll see at the Mallards game today. They too have a calling and a very big job. What's their big job? Well, I'd say it's even, godly, because everyone deserves, no matter who or where we are in life, everyone deserves to be ruled with fairness. So was it fair for Abram to lie about Sarai? I'd like to know what you think, but to me, it kind of sounds like Abram was doing a bit of, what do they call it these days? Insider trading? Insider trading, and treating his wife, Sarai, like, what? What was he treating her like? A prize camel? Marketable possession? I think we're safe to say that if our calling depends on using other people for our own selfish gain, that calling is definitely not a call from God. Amen? Amen. For as we read back in Genesis, God called Abram and Sarai to bless, not curse, all the families on earth. So a real call from God, whatever it may be, should help make life better for all those around us. But what about us? What about us? What's in it for us? Don't we deserve respect? To not be treated as some marketable object, some means to an end? Of course. But feeling that we deserve this may take a little work. Well, along with a little or even a lot of help from our friends. Now, looking back, I can see that church has really helped me to, what did Jesus say? Become what I believe. Church, all my friends, help me do this. Both before and during my call as a pastor. Well, the first time was before I was a pastor. When I went to my pastor, who had just graduated from seminary, his name was Mark, since I was really feeling confused in my then life, my then occupation. I was asking myself, was I making the right choice to do what I felt I had to do? How would I know? How should I feel? So I got up the nerve to ask my pastor. I said, Mark, what's it like for you? I knew he had to make a similar decision in his life. I said, how did your decision make you feel? How does it make you feel now? Mark was a very thoughtful man. He took a long time to answer. But when he did, it was simple. Peace, he says. It feels like peace. Well, so far then, my caller ID allows for blessing others, right? And feeling at peace. Those two things help me identify God's call. Now, there's many others we could identify, but, given the time, besides we've got a hot dog lunch coming up, I'll just mention one more. It's a feeling that blesses both us and others, all while guiding everyone's call. Now, this came to me suddenly when I was a pastor, even many years after becoming a pastor. And again, I was feeling most confused. So I went to a pastoral counselor. His name was Mary. And I said, well, Mary, when will I know? I was feeling kind of stuck in my current place, my current duties. When will I know that it's time for a change? How do I know if I'm missing the mark? Now, that doesn't sound like much, but at the time it was just overtaking me. And I must have looked real sad. For Mary gave me, I still remember it, the most intense, earnest look I've ever seen. And she called out this question. She asked, well, don't you know, Robert, that God wants you to be happy? Who, me? Happy? I deserve happiness? To be happy in my work? Happy with my life? I'm pretty sure I gave her kind of a deer in the headlights look at that point, because up to that moment, I really hadn't thought that my happiness was essential to God's call on my life. So yeah, I felt kind of dumb. But better late than never, huh? And I felt better since. And I hope as you pray about this that you'll feel better too, that you'll feel your call too. But let's remember that God calls each and every one of us, no matter our particular calling, to live lives of what? Fairness, peace, and happiness, in service to whoever and wherever we are. This is why we celebrate Pride Month, right? It's also why we draw attention to peace with justice all over the world. All of these work together as our Holy Communion. Our Holy Communion. When we remember how Jesus and so many others have been called to love others. And so we as a church are here to help them have courage, take courage. For in the days before Jesus would suffer, he was gifted. He was guided. He knew he had hard work to do. And a few others did too, especially the women. And one came to him, knowing that he had been telling folks that he must suffer to die. And she took a bit of spike on him, right? And I think, right as the story goes, she poured out this very expensive oil. This is all we can afford today. And then, she dried his feet, and everywhere she had put this perfume with her hair. That wasn't too well received by some of the folks there, was it? They thought that was wildly extravagant, but Jesus said, for no matter how long, when this is remembered, she will be honored, and we will be guided. So we will incorporate that into our communion, because after that, Jesus attempted to anoint his own disciples. Most received it. Peter resisted. Not this Peter. But the other Peter, who just said, Lord, you'll never wash my feet. You'll never anoint me. But Jesus said, if I don't anoint you, you can't be a part of me. Let me help you. Let me honor you. Let me give you peace. So he did. And then Jesus served. Served as he had done before. But this time, in the night before he would suffer, he took bread. He blessed it as always, broke it, but then he said, "This is my body."